So let's turn this way. So I'm working on a piece here that belongs to a log skidder. Now what had happened is this bearing normally sits in here, and as you can see, the bearing spun. So this is off a timberjack skidder. They can be hard to find, and when you do find these pieces, they can sometimes be pretty expensive. So what I've done is I was able to chuck this in the lathe. Luckily it has another cutting on the back that's square to the other one. Anyway, I was able to chuck this up in the lathe, and I run a bolt through because it won't quite grab enough, but it was enough that I can make it centered up. Anyway, I run a bolt through the inside depth here and was able to lock it in down here on this, and then lock it out the back of the lathe. It's easy to do, just something as simple as a piece of all thread all the way through the lathe. So anyway, I save a lot of these pieces. From the trash, and sometimes people having to spend $300 or $400 on something like that. Anyway, then I take this. This is just a piece of steel I got from a guy up in Springfield that sells odds and ends parts like that, and I've got it machined to where it's just almost ready to slide down in there. Then I'll probably freeze it, push it off in there, and then I'll lock everything back in the lathe and get an actual race, or find the numbers on this one and see what the outside diameter is supposed to be, and then I'll turn this into it. I was talking with some guys on a tractor page earlier, and they were talking about some of the bigger tractors not being able to find parts for them anymore, just for the simple fact they're old and the company that made them doesn't support them anymore. They're out of business. So that's kind of what I was going at this with. Any of those parts, man, if I could chuck that thing in my lathe. I don't have a big mill yet. I've got a mill drill. It's a good size mill drill. If I can get it chucked in my lathe, I can usually fix it. That's especially on something like this. I mean, it's cast, it machines nice. It's not hard to go in here and fix that. Once I get that pressed in there, like I said, I'll go in and figure out what my diameter is supposed to be, and I'll machine that back out. This here is my lapping plate. I'll lap it all in. It'll look just as new and factory as it can be, but it does get people back to work doing their jobs. Like I said, sometimes I can save folks money on doing that. Again, if I can chuck it in my lathe, this is my small lathe, but I was able to do it on it. Yeah, it's a mess. But I've got a big lathe. It's 3-phase up at a buddy's shop in town. I can go up there and do stuff too. So I've got, I think it's an 8-foot bed on it. And this one here is only like 24-inch, I think. But anyway, this is just some of the stuff you can do in a backyard shop, small lathe. There's not much to it. All you got to do is have a little bit of patience, a little bit of know-how, and the right tools. You'll be able to knock stuff like that out. For you guys that are on that tractor page, or that Dying Breed page, I think is what it was. We was talking about tractor. I'm gonna post this on there and let y'all see that some things can be repaired.